And our scene is set as a meeting has been called among the Sombra again. This time at the Blooming Rose, a brothel owned by only the dearest of the Sombra, Fabio Orsini, most esteemed and kind-hearted. Ulric enters with Madeleine, and last time, who gives her a bit of a look. Ulric just tries to ignore it.
Madeline
tries to shrug her off as he makes his way up to the main floor where Mr. Orsini is waiting. And I'm sorry for cutting you off.
Madeline seems less affected by the surroundings. She seems fairly relaxed, actually with a bit of smile on her face, as she normally has, but she seems relaxed and calm. Maybe she's enjoying the fact that Ulric is probably a little on edge in a place like this. But have we heard that it should be in a back room or in the first floor or something?
Well, Fabio will see to it that you are well attended and led to one of the back rooms in the basement. And you pass a door, and after that a second door, and you enter into his study, which for the sake of this scene is only lit by a small half-burnt candle. And Orsini is still dressed in the monk robes. He takes off his hood. Brother, sister, be welcomed in my house. Have a seat.
Madeline will greet him and say, "Thank you for having us."
Oracle, oh sorry.
No, your grace and hospitality is a motto, considering how little time has passed, but I am really glad to have you invite us here.
I know that it might not be our usual meeting place, but a man needs to attend to his duties and to his business.
Of course.
So, I believe the reason we're all here relates to a recent announcement.
I heard the town crier saying something vague about magical disappearances, and I think a thug that died or something. I don't usually pay attention to the man.
Apparently she's the woman this crowd was talking about was possessed by evil spirits. Apparently saw someone drinking from the blood of another. Disappeared like smoke.
Smoke.
When was this supposedly to take place, or when did it take place?
Did not say. I think it didn't say. Let me just check the announcement. I have it right up here. So let's just see if that's actually true. Because otherwise, Oric wouldn't lie. No, it does. Doesn't say. It doesn't even say the location actually.
Well, from what I have heard, it is vague.
So a man was trained. That means one of us and the assailant disappeared in a cloud of smoke. Do you know any more of this incident?
Apparently it was a mugging gone wrong. Other than that, the cry said no more.
The muggers don't usually train their victims.
Might have been someone in the songs.
Well,
The
at least
location
we
was
will know
not
that
stated.
that person will be found at some point if that person is as careless. Although we can probably do something to alleviate this problem, but if that is our concern, but as long as we do not have a Baron, we will be wandering in blindness, I suppose.
Who's willing to bet money was the Ravnos?
He
He
is,
kind of smiles.
they seem to be careless. Although Madeline looks for a while. She was just, although we must have other information to be able to truly truly understand what is this. Was this some person who was out of their senses, or did they indeed see something? Yeah, she. It's clear that she's looking at Ulfric at this point.
Auric just
Well,
kind of Auric
But
just
only
kind of
thing that would
squints as he doesn't really know what she's getting at, but
the only thing that would worry me in this situation is appeared in smoke. It is not necessarily something I would think would alert to the Ravenous. Well, then again, it may be.
the illusionists.
yeah. Who do we know that can conjure smoke and appear from nothing?
Ulric, they actually last night when we were, shall we say, preparing to talk with our dear brother here, you were away for some time and you seemed as though you were shall we say, something had happened while you were away.
Auric just kind of looks curious. This statement. He's not hiding anything. Yeah, he's not stating that. He doesn't seem to be like trying to contest the notion.
You'll see Madeline just look at you. She looks at you for some time and doesn't say anything. But of course, illusionists. It must be it. It is most likely the Ravenous, since none of us would really be able to do this. You would not be able to see shadow, where you would be able to see shadow, not smoke, as it were.
Oh, it could have been perhaps one of those. What do they call it? Obfuscation tricks to disappear.
Perhaps.
Perhaps they rationalized it. Who knows at this point?
If this is something
So,
that will be a problem in the future, I will try to quiet it down, so to say.
so our main suspects are either astray from our clan, one of the princes, or the would-be pauper baron.
It would seem it would be quite the advantage for us if the Ravenous indeed were to run around on the street and drain people without a care in the world, would it not?
Well, let's think of this reasonably, sister. The prince and his escorts have more than enough. So I wouldn't exactly see them feeding carelessly on the streets unless they want to provoke a scandal. One of us, well, let us do the count. I was momentarily busy, and you see Orsini smiling again. Father Petruchio was indisposed, so it's either one of you or a stray from our clan, if it is a member of our clan, or the Ravnus.
I would say that there is no doubt that it cannot be any of us. It would be the ravenous. The problem, well, the question is, what do we do with this? Do we make it more publicly known that the ravenous is doing this, or do we try to get the rumors that are circulating now like wildfire, but then try to quench that fire and let it quiet down and no more of it? I would be able to do some of this myself.
It would be better for us to have more information. Maybe even find the true perpetrator. And after that, make sure he is. If he is the Ravnos, we should make this be known. If it's someone else, let's find out who. And find out how we can sway the odds in our advantage. Even if it is not the Ravnos. If people find out it is the Ravnos, if people think with enough strength that this would-be Baron had slips of behavior, so to speak, she would lose the barony.
Exactly my point, dear brother. No matter who it is, if we were to already now focus our efforts to make it appear as though the Ravenous is indeed at fault, we can only gain from this.
What do we know about the victim? Who was this? The man murdered.
I cannot say myself. I did not hear the proclamation.
If it find out who this one is, maybe we'd get a bit more help. Know where to spread the rumors.
I believe the victim was a woman. Well, the individual who witnessed, at least.
I will try and look at this place and find out something about this, and see if I can find this person.
For now, it may be best to quieten down. I believe she's already been written off as a lunatic, but it would not hurt to put in extra preventative measures.
Actually,
would be the safest choice, but
actually, we could build up on this. Plant certain ideas into her head. Make her spout names. Or specifically the name of that Ravnus. Make sure it is known in the city that the perpetrator has a face and a name. Our intervention should be subtle. We should find out who the one assaulted was. Maybe he's the member of a gang. I know some of the underworld of the city. Rumors can be spread, names dropped, information gathered. You're not the only influential people in the city who have crossed my doorstep.
I think that is actually probably the best way to go at this point.
For now, this is not particularly my forte or my area of pull, so I shall
No,
take a
not at
hands-off
all.
approach to this one. Although, if you require hard coin to gather this information, I can provide that at the very least.
Brother, I did not build this establishment with favors and pretty smiles.
Of course, no offenses intended.
Oh, by the way, Mr. Orsini, Fabio, sorry, and my courtesy sometimes get the better of me, but your ghoul, is she here now?
She's with a client, but I assure you she's fine.
I would very much like to meet her. I want to congratulate her for her stoic and very faithful service to you.
Yes,
It is
but
really to be admired.
she's busy right now, but I will send her your way as soon as it can be done.
I would appreciate that. I do not hope she hits me or anything. Her standoffish doubt of me was a very healthy sign. And
I
I
hope
want to.
I hope you're not plotting to steal my ghoul, sister. I invested a lot in that child's education.
Oh, no, no, not at all, not at all. I have, as I said, quite a few people I need to take care of and look out for as it is.
I can handle my own, but if it makes you feel any better, I'll send her your way.
It's merely courtesy. The last time we parted, she was less than pleased with me.
She's a good child, but she acts like an animal in front of strangers. If there's anyone she doesn't know, she doesn't trust them. I've trained her well,
And
kept
that
her
is a healthy
safe.
thing to do, indeed.
But another thing comes to mind. What if our enemies try to use this little assault against us? Smoke and shadow blend in the night.
Indeed. That is the risk if we try to blow this up even more and it is connected to us somehow, well, then we will have a bigger problem. But if we were to quell this now, we could be quite certain that no one can use it.
Quelling it is going to help no one, sister.
Okay.
The best course of action, actually, would be something different. How about a little masquerade? How about we show people that the Ravnus tried to soil our good name by using his tricks? It would disqualify him in front of the voters. It would disqualify him in front of the prince, and then his whole interference in the whole Baron affair would be insignificant, and there's no threat to us.
We would need evidence of such an act. If we could accrue some, then we'd be all set.
Evidence can be provided through coin. Evidence can be provided through talking to the right people. And sufficient evidence should be provided if we impose our will on a few people. It is the powers of the blood that set us apart from the kine, and it is the power of the blood that should aid us in all our battles, be them with the sword or with the word. No prince is going to investigate Kine. None of the prince's lackeys should be able enough to find out our interventions if they are small and often made and on a large number.
No, but who of us, is there anyone here who will want to, well, it is between me and you, I suppose, Fabio? Would you spend time in the coming nights to look into this, or should I?
I think you should, sister, but do not put yourself in danger. I still have people to talk to, and I still have to regain my composure. Our little conflict has left me drained by more than blood,
Nah.
and my face is not well liked enough. So I might keep my actions small, strong, and to the point.
Indeed. If there is anything I might be able to do to reaffirm your position, please do not hesitate to ask. If there is something I can do, I will.
Point any man of influence that is looking for a good time to my little establishment, and I'll make sure the girls have slips of the tongue.
I understand.
A lot of information is shared behind closed doors.
Indeed, they are. You can take a perception. You can both take a perception empathy roll.
Okay. Still a terrible dice pull for me.
Same here.
Who needs feelings?
Ooh, 2 successes actually.
Same.
You can both tell that when she says "indeed they do," she smiles quite widely and has a very knowing look in her eyes. She just nods and sits back a little. Whatever that might mean is, but there is something in her reaction that seems a little too familiar or something.
Now, on to other matters. Brother, have you talked to any of your potential supporters that are not of one of the 3 fates?
I'm still trying to locate them. They've sent a message to me stating that they'd like to meet me, but I've yet to track them down. I should be doing show within the next couple of nights, however. Keep in mind, it's only been OC. It's only been 24 hours, so he probably hasn't.
Give me names and give me clans, brother. Something tells me the gangrel are not of the fate. At least not at an intimate level.
Marcel and Gottfried, I think, the 2 gangrel I met were.
I know that Gottfried.
Yes, you met him at the palace. He was quite rowdy against the Ravnos.
He could be our ally. I made him a couple of compliments, publicly enough, and he seemed embarrassed, like a young boy would. So I might have a good introduction. He was the one I wanted to track down as well. Many of his kind still keep to the old fates.
I'll be tracking down Amelie and Shoshana myself. Shoshana was the one that said she wanted to meet me, and I believe I parted on very good terms with Amelie as well.
Who is this woman you speak about? I haven't heard her name before.
Amelie or Shoshana?
Both. But this Shoshana name is a name I haven't heard before. She seems exotic and important.
She is. She's part of a coterie. The woman known as Amelie is also part of it. Shoshana herself is part of a lineage of the Aramanes. I'm not entirely sure what they are. Amelie, however, is apparently an outcast from another clan.
Out of character, the moment when you say Aramain, you see a reaction in Orsini. Uh-huh. Well, we might have more in common than most people would think. Now, have you decided on your potential allies once you reach the Barony? Have you decided on a way to sway the votes?
I think I found a way to sway the Salubri, and I think I may already have done so. I still need to meet with Sir Cassimo. And there was a certain other healer I'd like to discuss matters with again. But I think I have the Salubri support for the most part. All that matters now is applying the finishing touches.
How about the Bruja?
The Bruja, I have not... I've only ever met Santiago, who I'll find again.
Your opponent should be the one to be swayed.
I'll be keeping an eye on him, needless to say. As for... I've not heard of any other Bruja. Adventurer are an interesting factor we've not discussed yet. I believe they are fairly numerous, but have not applied for the barony, which would be most unusual of them, and have not, to my knowledge, backed anyone yet. I'll need to meet with them. I've met a couple. They seem to be gauging the competition right now.
The two went through, I know that I met. They seemed a lot more sentimental than you would think went through to be. Standoffish.
There are a lot of Ventru that do not fit the stories we heard. But that should not be a problem. If their political ambitions line up within the city, why not cash in on this?
Their support would still be a very great thing to have, but
I believe if we can capitalize on their rivalry with the Bruja and their disdain for the Ravnos, we may be able to make ourselves appear as the logical option. As for the Nosferatu, well, we only need to make them appear as puppets to their greater lord.
The Nosferatu have their use. They have their use in any court. But keep in mind that they might be spies of the prince and loyal to the prince before any other loyalty.
I believe I have a position for the one that's applied for the barony. The Hound is not the spy master, too easy. They'd have access to the Barony's secrets, and they could, well, it would put us in a very large risk. I would plant him in a position of more minor power, a hound of the sheriff, one who can investigate his behalf.
Ask him to be your sheriff. There is enough prestige behind the title. The Bruja are known as being faithful sheriffs, good in their position, and if major conflicts arise, he is disposable.
Are you asking for Nosferatu to be a sheriff, or to make a brutal sheriff that can easily dispose of a Nosferatu? I didn't quite catch that, sorry.
Yeah, I'm saying that the Bruja is easily disposable and you could just ask him to be sheriff. So we could easily dispose of the Bruja if he pisses us off.
But promising... The only issue lies in promising such things to my competitors would leave me with less to promise to my voting base. I would, of course, still oblige you in my position, apart from the Ravnos.
Your voting base can get minor titles if you keep your word and he gives you one of his characteristical smells. I might need harpies.
I have a few in line for you. I believe I may manage to secure the loyalty of Shoshana's entire coterie if I can acquire her a harpy position, although we'll see.
Harpies are appointed by the master of harpies, so give the devil his due. As far as the Nosferatu are involved, a sheriff needs prince or a baron needs a scourge, needs someone to hide in the shadows, clear the thin bloods away. Make sure those that are unworthily sired are put to death.
I believe I have the man for that. In fact, I believe Bourgeois Nosferatu may make very good scourges.
Scourges need to be secret.
The
Bruja are everything but.
Maybe not a scourge, but a warden to keep those who would incur on our domain out. A public executioner, but with justification behind it.
I still see Scourge. The Scourge is the only one that can act in the shadows to the best interest of Canaanites without being privy to a lot of information. Your key positions need to be held by the people in clan. That's why I said, name me as your master of harpies. Name our good sister here as our seneschal, and keep the good father in the background as one of your advisors. You have a habit of confessing to priests. If the good father makes a name for himself, and in that will help him as well as a faithful confidant, more people might join.
I have other plans in store for dear Madeleine.
She perks up at that.
He just kind of smiles. Later. I don't wish to swamp the larger positions of our own clan, or we may appear biased towards our own.
As far as your voting base, brother, promise domain. Promise small positions that we can control with no effort. and promise a thing that will be within your power, and that raises a lot of eyebrows, but would help us in the long run no matter what. Grant embracing rights. This is a new city. Our numbers are few.
Indeed. Although I do request merely one harpy position, as I believe with that I could secure all the loyalty I need. But you may choose the rest and as many as you want past that. I will not interfere past that point.
And who do you want as your harpy? Names and plans, brother. Names and plans.
Ulric stretches back and sorry, just let me go over all the characters again, because I know Shoshana is a potential one, but I may have ideas for another. Let's see, we got Santiago, we got actually forgot off the top of my head. Let me just check again. With the kindred in the city that I've met. Sorry about this. I'm just trying to find the person's name. We got the Venture, we got the Setite, who's absolutely off the table. And the Salubri Ulric has different plans for. So, damn it. Actually, forget I said that, because I can't actually think of someone off the top of my head, and with Shoshana I have another plan for, so...
Well, as long as they are loyal and they report to me, and me alone, I have no trouble with respecting your desire for a harpy.
Of course. I'll look further into the matter. I believe I can sway Shoshana for other means. Hopefully I won't have to give her such a position, but I believe if I appeal to her coterie as a whole, I may be able to wipe out several birds with one stone.
Let me talk to them. Something tells me that they just pay lip service to the church. And we who are not of the faith have our own ways of dealing with ourselves.
Okay, but I would ask that I do talk to Shoshana, as she did request to meet me personally.
Watch your back. You would not be the first eager politician that ends up assassinated by giving people too much trust.
That's true. I shall be on guard. He says that eagerly, as if not hoping it, but as if, yeah, let's go.
So we settled the matter of the incident. We settled the matter of positions. We settled the matter of parlance with the different coteries. Is there anything else that needs to be discussed, or should we get on with our work?
I believe we should get on with due business. I believe I've got most of my positions sorted out. The only ones that remain would be Elysia and Sheriff, but I believe we've made good headway on that regardless. So.
Get the Bruja as your sheriff. As far as keepers of Elysia go, pick whoever you wish.
I will
It's a
see.
position that has more prestige than it should.
I will see about the Bruja, but I can't make promises quite yet. I believe Santiago wishes to remain out of our political system for now,
No, brother. You got me wrong. I promised the position of sheriff to your Bruja adversary. It might be enough to quell his ambition.
if so, then absolutely. If not, then a shame. But I suppose we'll deal with that when, if that happens. So basically, Ulric says if he agrees, then sure, but if not, then obviously he's going to look for someone else because he didn't agree. So it all depends on whether Bruja agrees or not. But Ulric will rise. Well, I believe this has been a most productive meeting. Thank you for having us, and we'll do a curt bow and.
A moment, brother.
Oh, of course.
And Orsini goes to one of the shelves. From a small leather bag, he picks up something. Don't immediately notice what. He takes it in the palm of his hand and extends it to you both. What you see in the palm of his hand are two halves of a florin, of Florentine coin, an Italian coin. Take one each. If you ever want to visit, you can come downstairs without anyone asking questions as long as you show them this.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And Ulric will offer a hand for Madeleine.
She will just having sit back and just been not passive, but she's just listened to the two, and her smile has grown a bit bigger since she came in, and she also seems pleased. But what she does is she goes, "Thank you very much for this, another gesture of kindness and trust, Fabio. I wish you a very good evening." And she bows or curtsies and says, "But please, I will send any well-off gentlemen your way."
I wish you to good night, brother, sister,
Likewise.
and may the darkness protect you. And when he says that, he just brushes his hand quickly over the candle, extinguishing it.
Likewise.
Indeed. Good evening. And Ulric will take his leave of Sister Madeleine, and our scene comes to an end.